Redfall seems to have a chance to be a huge hit, and it's not only because of Arsen's reputation Game Pass. Or the popularity of the developer's previous titles with gamers, it's not because Redfall devs have stated that the open-world shooters much larger the praise. Tales one location which is 712 meters or 45 average grey. Whilst I have done some digging, and in the last couple days the developers have also begun to open up more. About what Redfall is Redfall's been. In development since right before pre-shipped, it's made by a studio with a stellar reputation for storytelling and gameplay, by developers whose own various during the creation of it is refreshingly familiar to a lot of gamers even. If it's almost alien is comparison to other companies' PR speech, this is scary which why discuss this now? Well, it was not always that clear for a long time what the game was gonna be up to for player open world. Immersive shooter in a land where longevity experiments have turned the already corrupted men and women into vampires, with many of the powers that you would expect by the thankfully known of the romantic idolation. I think we can all agree one video, one interview does not make or break a game a developer can tell you. The game's about gains, but that not admit that you play as the context is lost until we experience it in the same way that a game can look fun in a Twitch stream but may not resonate with you when you get your hands on it. However, lately the developers for Arcane have done an interview about Redfall, and in combination with other interviews and details wrapping Redfall into a blood-covered package of understanding is not as difficult as it once was. Nevertheless, even the developers have expressed how much of a depth this is starting. Maybe we stretch too much. This time we probably should have picked either an open world or cooperative multiplayer. But each Redfall comes together at the quality level we think it will, then it will be a different beast. It's really trembles, it does a lot of cool stuff, but at its core it's a 4-player shooter, but also a co-op Arcane single-player game. You can jump in and out of an open world title, where you move around the game world and fight on vampires, but at any time can return home to your base and continue the story whenever you want. This was not always exactly known since Redfall CGI, thus into the future compressions to Black for Blood, and now the Ancient left for Dead have not stopped Redfalls, a multiplayer shooter in which a group of players must work together to eliminate two vampires from an open world location. In New England it was natural for people to draw some parallels, given how similar the games looked initially and given their genre's widespread appeal. Left 4 Dead undoubtedly is going to be brought up, a game so old a large number of gamers experiencing Redfall for the first time were not speaking in full sentences when that title came out, so with the sequel and the experience have built once the original title's success. We also can't forget the now refreshed and ultimately much better than its original release would have had you believe back. For Blood there's remained from the Ashes killing floor, World War Z, Payday, Kraken Lineage, a site a recent developer, interview with Games Radar. As well as reading those other interviews have sort of allowed us to get the details and make it clear what compressions should be made for this title and other. Arcane's Far Cry now get in the might be a scary proportion. Far Cry games are so afraid of a single moment of downtime the developers probably have a breakdown. If you have like more than 11 seconds without a badger attack, the game's usual release is a buggy state, a broken one with random symbols scattered across the game world, so that every 7 seconds you have highlighting some goal as if everyone in the world could not acquire the unscribed ADHD meds from a debut. Celebrated, however, the developers pointed out that The game's new locations, the hunting vampires cruising through the strides down and hammering humans with high firepower. Assault rifles all are growing to occur in a much larger, world than prey and open world environment, and for many gamers a small group extortions, open world game comparisons to Far Cry makes sense, but the developers themselves have compared it to not only Far Cry, but Stalker, a classic in and of its time that is a massive swatch between the two, though indefined by the two case points, one opposite and the of the experience spectrum from open world shooter games. This explains the developers' ideas for the wide way that you can deliver the story, versus the distinct trajectory that's intended when it comes to the multiplayer, but still that's a bit too wide. If that were true, it's like saying your rocket will either.
Who that flying in the air? Fool, that ain't no flying saucer. I'm shooting webs like worldwide. Manhattan all the way to Yonkers. When they say Brooklyn, stand up. You better just fix your posture. And every hero needs his theme song. So hit tracks. You ain't got a chance, boy. What you think? I'm doing everything but the kitchen sink. I try to be feeling in the neighborhood. I know all of the great.